Hi, good morning, everyone, or good day to you. My name is Josephine, and we are so privileged to have our guest today to share with us about her thoughts, her life, her experiences for International Women's Day. And I'm so privileged to welcome Melda, and may we have you to introduce yourself then?
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here and talking to you today. My name is Melda. I'm Turkish, married with 2 kids. I have been working in the consumer goods industry for the last 24 years, first based in Turkey, then in Middle East in Dubai, and very recently for the last 7 months I've been in Singapore.
Thank you so much. Wow. Definitely a person who's an international experience and living all over the world. So let's just deep dive into our questions and so that our audience won't be kept waiting. My very first question to you to celebrate IWD, can you share a pivotal moment that has shaped your leadership style?
Changing that function from marketing to sales was definitely a pivotal moment. I guess there are 2 similarities or 2 major learnings that I have that impacted my leadership style and my career. The first one is the realization of one size doesn't fit all, one style doesn't fit all. What might work, what you think are your strengths in an organization, in a role, in an assignment, might not necessarily help you deliver results in another one. I mean, let's think about sales or marketing, for example. I mean, the skill set that you need to push more in sales might be different than in marketing. When you move geographies, there are cultural nuances. So how you build trust in one geography might be very different than the other. So I guess my learning in all of these changes is that you need to adjust your style and have more of an agile leadership, situational leadership, if you will. And that's the way to adapt. I guess that's the first learning I have that impacted my career and my leadership style. And the other one is, as a leader, as a manager, you don't need to know everything. And what I mean by this is when you make these changes, sometimes you find yourself in situations where your team actually has more know-how than you do. I mean, if you move to a new geography, you don't know about that geography, how business is done there, right? Or when you change functions. So there were moments where my team, who were reporting to me, had more technical know-how about that business, and I didn't have the same. Of course, I mean, I did my best to catch up and learn, but I realized that my role as a leader is not to have the answers to all the questions. My role is to be able to ask the right questions at the right time, the smart questions that will make the team think in the right direction. So I guess that's the second learning from those moments. So I mean, as I lead teams, organizations, I try to keep both of these in mind.
Thank you so much. To adapt and also to ask the right questions. And that's so in line with our theme, to inspire inclusion as well, right? In working with an international team. So, our next question is about work-life balance. So, I mean, you're doing so much. As women, we have so much to balance in our lives, whether we are a mother, a daughter, a sister, or even an employer or employee. So what is something that you have done? How do you manage to balance your work and your career?
I assume, by the way, this question is asked mostly to female leaders, not to male leaders at the same rates, which is not fair, right? Because it feels like, life is demanding more from women, which shouldn't be the case. So I'm hoping that someone is asking the same question to my husband. I personally do not believe in work-life balance. I mean, what I mean with this is I believe in work-life integration. I believe in the balance for the long term. For example, there will be moments where the business is demanding more. There might be a budget meeting, an important launch. Of course, you might have to dedicate more to your career, to the office in those periods, and maybe compromise from your personal life and family. But then when it's you find the opportunity, you can balance it later. It's a marathon that we're running, so it's not possible to run at a high speed on all fronts of life. So I guess it's important to know when to slow where and when to prioritize the other one. So what I try to do is to have the balance over the long term, not in short periods of time. And I guess some of the secrets or tools that I have to manage that is first to have the right partner. It's impossible if my partner, if my husband doesn't see eye to eye with me in terms of the priorities we have as a family, also my priorities as an individual. I'm lucky that we have actually, and we keep updating it. We have a contract, not written of course, but a contract where we know where we want to take our family, what's our priorities, what are our values, and what we want to do for ourselves as well. And it's very clear to him that my career is a priority for me and he's committed to support me. I think that's the starting point. Otherwise, I think it might be difficult, especially for women, to create that career space for themselves. Advice I might give it for the females especially is to create a good support system. If you want to have kids and take care of the house, but also have a demanding career, it's important that you have a supporting system. At the beginning of my career, I didn't have the financial means to have a helper. At that time, it was more my mom or my mother-in-law helping us take care of the kids. Later on, we had the opportunity to invest into a helper. But of course, I had to prioritize that and deprioritize something else. Maybe for years, I didn't buy myself a designer shoe or a bag, but it wasn't the priority. The priority for me was that my kids are well taken care of, so that I can focus what I have to do at work. So really creating that support system, I think, is important. And the third thing I would say is good planning or advanced planning. I have benefited a lot as a family. We have benefited a lot till today. We try to plan at least 6 months ahead. So we already know what we're going to do for Easter, our summer plan. Tickets are bought. We know the important days in school, when we need to be in school. I cannot be in school for all the parents-teacher meetings or the events, but I try to decide which ones I will go from before, and I discuss my kids as well. Okay, I cannot come to 5, but I'll come to 2. Which 2 are important for you? And they're already in my calendar. My husband does the same. And I think it really helps us to put our resources where it matters, our time where it matters. So I guess these are the main strategies we have as a family to manage our work-life integration.
Thank you so much, Melda. And I am hearing, the marathon metaphor, which we could go at length to discuss, and the importance of communication, not only to your spouse, but to your kids as well. And to have that really strong support system, whether it is your mother or whether it's paid services, to have someone to support us. We are not super women all the time, isn't it? Yeah?
Wow. Wish we were, but no.
Well, thank you for that. It's real and very candid, but also very authentic sharing. And I'm sure our women listeners would benefit a lot from your strategies and ideas. And now, moving on to our next question. What is something or one advice to female workers or employees that you have, maybe in today's modern complex society?
Honestly, my advice is not gender specific. It might be equally valuable for all genders. 3 things I would say. The first one is staying curious. As you said, now this era is super complex and it's changing very fast. What we know today is becoming obsolete the next day in many areas. So I think it's really important to have that learning passion in you, that curiosity in you, so that you can stay relevant throughout your career. Even as a mom, by the way. Kids are learning so much, and if you're not up to date, it's very easy for them to say, "Oh, mom, you're a boomer, you don't understand." So I think I would say that curiosity is really important. That's one thing that really helped me in my career and in keeping that learning agility and learning passion. The second would be being bold and be ready to take risks and get out of your comfort zone. In your first question, if you remember, I said, whenever I made a change, it actually was a pivotal moment in my life. None of those changes were easy for me. I had to take some risks, of course, calculated risks. But what I also realized is that if you don't take risks and do not get out of your comfort zone, growth doesn't come. It doesn't come easily. So I guess my second advice would be challenge yourself. And the third one is, yes, you might challenge yourself. You might be curious. You might work hard, but there will be failure. It's part of the journey. And it's important to build that resilience, to be ready for when that failure hits you. so that you can fall 8 times but stand up the 9th time. And everyone has a different way of building that resilience for themselves. Everyone has a different motivation, different inner drive. I guess it's important to find what that drive is for you from the beginning of your career. So when failure reaches you, which I can assure you it will, you know where you can find the energy to stand up again.
And resilience is such an overused word. And may I just sort of like get you to kind of summarize what resilience really means to you?
For me, I think resilience is once you didn't achieve what you want to achieve. It might be in personal life or it might be in career. Finding that energy to rejuvenate yourself and to say, it's okay, I can try again. It doesn't mean that I'm not good enough or, I don't have what it takes. It was just this time I didn't do it properly. I can give it a try. Of course, you need to, summarize the learnings. You cannot do the same thing and expect a different outcome. So resilience also has a bit of a course correction in it, right? So you have to learn what went wrong, why you were not able to achieve the results that you wanted. But then, once you learn, you make that self-reflection and finding that energy to stand up again, to rejuvenate yourself and to try it in a different way.
Thank you for your nuggets of wisdom, Melda. And any parting words for our International Women's Day audience here?
I really think this day is special because if we don't create awareness for the gender equality, it would take more than 130 years for it to happen on its own. I mean, this is according to a Harvard study, which means that we have to drive this agenda and create the awareness in all possible ways. And March 8th, the Women's Day, is one great opportunity to create that awareness, not just with females, but maybe more importantly with males as well. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak for this day.
Thank you so much, Melda. And shall we show our support to our IWD audiences outside with our sign? So happy IWD, everyone, and have a good day.